All right, a little bit different. I was going to talk into a microphone, but I'm not doing a podcast. So this is D. This is Comic and Nonsense. My daughter just walked inside the room. This is going to be fun. We're here with David. David, Decimation Nerd. Like doing a little thing together, bringing this in. We're going to do some stuff. So hopefully when all this is done, because I'm doing this pre-recorded, there's be colors everywhere. It won't just be like a black box. So, yeah. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. Like, I'm ready to do this, ready to have like a conversation about nerdy stuff, comic books, TV shows, all that. Still rocking the cool headphones. You got none. We'll change that. Don't worry about it. It'll come in the future.
I couldn't find my beats. I'm
still rocking whatever these things. I have no idea what show this is from. It's one of my kids' headphones. it became like ironic. Now I'm just gonna work it. So screw it.
It looks good.
It
really does.
I appreciate it. There's a lot of news out there right now. I know you got something really intense you want to talk about, but I know like you're also a hardcore comic book guy. It won't be primarily comic book talk on this show. We're going to talk about other stuff also, but I want to kick it off with some comic book talk. Kurt Busiek is he's returning to Amazing Spider-Man with on issue 850. You know who Kurt Busiek is. Like, you've been following his career, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You excited about this? About him coming to this run?
I don't know, because, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been a fan of Spider-Man since, this is really going to date me, since,
don't say Ben Reilly. Don't be like the majority.
No, you know who I'm going to say, though. Creator of Spawn.
Oh, since Todd McFarlane.
Since Todd McFarlane.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even before the Clone Wars, I believe. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, no, I haven't touched
Todd
it.
Pissed you off that much? He said, "Screw this, I'm done."
After he left.
Oh, he had like such like a high mountain. No one can catch him. I get you.
I mean, Todd McFarlane did things on that book that was not within the normal Marvel world.
He broke some barriers. Agreed.
Yeah, and the fact that Marvel kept telling him no, and he kept doing it, and then they eventually said, okay, And
he made Image after that, not too long after.
Yeah, he made Image after that.
He and Jim Lee and Liefeld and like all the other guys who were a part of it.
Well, the one thing I got to say, at least he didn't do a whole lot of pockets when he went over to Image.
You mean Liefeld or McFarlane?
No, McFarlane. He didn't do the whole pocket thing.
No, that was kind of like a big thing in the 90s, though. I think he realized like it was a bad fad before Liefeld.
Right.
Liefeld's still doing the pockets.
Yeah, he's still doing the pockets today.
He doesn't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids are still here. We can keep on going. It's fine. I'm excited to see Busiek do this thing. I know he's been doing like a lot of different stuff with Spider-Man here and there. I think he did like the Invaders, or I could be thinking about. I think I'm thinking about. Guys, give me a second. Thank you. Always fun. I'm leaving this in there. I'm just gonna leave it in there. It's good.
Yeah, leave it in there.
Parenting life during quarantine. It's fine. Go. Or COVID now. We're not technically in quarantine anymore. But I'm big into Busiek. I like his work. His DC stuff more than Marvel. Like, I think, me personally, I think DC characters get a more chance, more layers to their stories as opposed to Marvel characters. Marvel characters are usually fighting with the powers that they have, and Marvel. See, now I'm getting confused because the kids are here, and my guy got some spinning around doing crazy stuff.
Oh, I see one.
There. Are you trying to pop in? All right, John. You make it look like a bad parent with your hair looking like it looks. Come on, let's go. Back to bedroom. Leave that in too, apparently. Not gonna edit any of this out. But music stuff is always better to me with DC than Marvel. But I feel like I'm being biased because I'm more of a DC guy now.
Well, yeah, I would, be honest with you. I have been a DC guy for a long time, but I've also been more of an independent guy.
Yeah, like the independent stuff usually really just rings your bell, usually, right?
Right, and because Marvel, when I got into Marvel, it was like the X-Men were really big, and that was pretty much my whole world experience. Marvel was the X-Men, and my younger cousin was just an avid X-Men fan, and so it just became so much. I was like, it just totally turned me off to Marvel. So I stuck with DC. But for me in DC, it wasn't the Trinity, it was the Legion of Superheroes. That was what I was really big into.
Oh, you were big into the future stories.
Well, yeah, I was big into the future stories, but I was also big into the fact that they had a diverse group of heroes. Not diverse as in, multicultural, but diverse as in they had a variety of different heroes. Where if you look at the DC Justice League, there's almost someone that had the same powers. You had 2 Flashes. You had 6 or 7 Green Lanterns.
It's kind of like the way it was back then too. Like you gotta have a couple of backups in case something happens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You always gotta have a backup. And it was for me. So yeah, I kind of like DC. But I would have to argue with you about Marvel and storylines because
Please. I want to hear this.
think the one they're doing was the one they did with Sam Wilson, where the battle over the Shield and how this major corporation were putting these cops in these neighborhoods and using excessive violence, and Sam went in and started dealing with it. And then American Age.
You mean when his series first started, when he first had that shield and it was kind of like dark and gloomy, and and the U.S. God, I can't think of his name right now.
John Walker.
Yes, thank you. When he showed up and he had to be pretty much the antagonist to Wilson in the entire run. That's one of my absolute favorite Captain America stories, to be truly honest.
Right.
It was played out well. It wasn't overtly in your face about it. It had a reason to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they kept executing all these different hurdles and obstacles for Sam, it just felt so fluid. I know. Right. I get what you're saying when it comes to that story. I loved it.
Right. And then the other one for me was the Isaiah Bradley run, the miniseries they did with
the Patriot, right?
No, it's the one
you mean
where
the original Captain America.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is where a lot of people could get confused. They say the original Captain America.
In that universe.
In that universe, they ran tandem to each other because it was more like a Tuskegee experiment where they took all these black soldiers and experimented on them, and then Isaiah Bradley got his abilities. But towards the end of the book series, he was supposed to team up with Captain America on a mission. But Captain America got stuck on another mission, so he ended up going solo. Yeah.
See, I haven't actually read that run. I think I need to get my hands on that just so I can get a better understanding. I think it's like a little mini series, right?
Yeah, it was a little mini series, and the thing about it, what threw you off is they had so many different characters in there that they used that you didn't really know who the central character was going to be, at least when I read it. And towards the end, it became Isaiah Bradley. But you had 3 other characters besides him that each got time in the story.
So they were kind of hyping you up to tell you that Isaiah Bradley is going to be the main character.
Well, yeah, I didn't think Isaiah Bradley was going to be the main character. The main character I thought was this. He was a rich middle class. I can't remember his name, but he was from a rich black middle class family. And the way they were working with him and his situation, he was forced to go into the army because of a physical altercation, and they gave him a choice. I thought he was going to be the hero of the story.
I like they were playing the game of Hush that DC was playing back when they introduced Hush for the first time. Who is Hush going to be? Who do you think Hush is? It seems like they do that same thing with this comic book run also. Did that take away from Isaiah Bradley being the main guy? Okay.
No, it didn't. But it was heartbreaking at the end of it because
the other ones died more likely, right? Spoiler.
Yeah. And you brought up Hush.
Oh God.
Hush.
You're gonna talk about the Bible to me.
Yeah, Hush was decent. But then I didn't like the one. I didn't like the fact that he changed his face to Bruce Wayne.
You know what? Later on in the series, I didn't understand why he did that. I guess I mean, they said why, because they wanted him to be like the constant reminder of his mess ups by looking at his face back at him. But like, I feel like seeing the face of his childhood best friend all the damn time would piss him off a little bit more than seeing his own face back at him.
Yeah, I mean, he was already unhinged. Why go even more deranged?
I mean, seeing the face of your childhood friend, like, you know, when Tommy's parents died and like Bruce's parent was still alive, that'd be like even more of a constant reminder to him about his parents and his failure of his parents dying. So yeah,
right.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I don't know. But have you read anything? What is it? Was it All-Star Batman? Was that
with Jim Lee? Jim Lee and Frank Miller?
Yeah, that the one. The run I'm thinking of, I could be wrong, is when he had to go cross country with Two-Face.
Oh, you're talking about that All-Star Batman?
Yeah,
the one by Scott Snyder.
Yeah. Scott Snyder is one of my favorite writers.
He's a favorite of mine. Like he wasn't always. This is I feel like we're just going on and on, but it's fine. Like it's a show, whatever. Scott Snyder, and I had a talk with Scott Snyder in a DM once on Twitter. And I name dropping. I don't give a shit. That's what it is.
Well, I name dropped the other day. Hey, didn't I name drop the other night when I mentioned what's his name from Sepultura? Used to date my wife.
That's right.
Hey, but hold on. This is funny because I got to go there because you remember the movie Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah.
Where he had to fight all the ex-boyfriends?
Exes, yeah.
Exes. And I said to my wife, we were watching, and I was like, well, I could have got past the first one, but the second one, Derek Green, I'm definitely not getting past.
Yeah, I think that guy wins. He's a big guy. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Hey, well, I only brought up Sepultura because you're a metal guy, so I thought you would enjoy that.
That's like my bread and butter, man.
Yeah.
I love me some metal.
Yeah.
But to get back to that story, like that cross country trip with Two-Face was amazing. Like Scott Snyder did a good job. I think it could have been like his main purpose all along, but I think ever since the Court of Owls in Zero Year, he's been trying to like lower the peg of like Batman's awesomeness to people, so he seems more human and relatable.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, everything can be solved by Batman. Batman can do this. So what he did was put Batman like inside of a maze at the Court of Owls made. What he did was let Gotham City be controlled by the Riddler for a whole year. Like he did like all these things. Like he had like the whole Bat family captured by the Joker. All these failures that Batman did to lead up to Metal, which was his greatest failure because he just literally gave up in that story. Like he just quit.
Well, even now in the Joker War, I guess in the Joker War, he's lost all his. Joker has the fortune, and Batman doesn't have it anymore. In the Joker War, if I remember correctly, and if any viewers out there telling me I'm wrong, well, I apologize. But I think the Joker War really exposes him as well, and I'm going to start reading that from what I've seen of it. But yeah, Scott Snyder's really brought Batman down to more of a human level.
Yeah.
Because if you look at any of the DC animation or any of the before Scott Snyder, even in Doom, which was Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Even when Batman was getting his ass handed to me, you knew he was going to figure it out. You know? And in this situation, I think, as you said, he kind of gave up.
Yeah. Yeah, it leads a little bit more to the mental health of like all the characters and Batman inside of it. Like I guess like it's a new age thing to talk about like mental health and put inside the stories, which I'm not frowning on. It's just that's what they're doing with Batman. Like and Bendis is doing something different when it comes to that with Superman.
You know, the question to you. Let me put this question to you.
Please.
Do you feel, if you were to take a step back, do you feel Batman is the villain or is the hero? Because the only reason why I say that, because without Batman, you would not have this rogues gallery. Without Batman, Joker wouldn't exist. Without Penguin wouldn't exist.
I wouldn't go that far. Like if you go like and listen to what Bruce Timm and Dini and like all the other guys are a part of the animated series, the episode of Trial. Do you remember that episode? Where like all the Batman villains in Arkham Arkham Asylum captured Batman,
right,
put him on trial, and so like he's the reason for all their problems, and like they found out like they're all crazy. Like Harvey Dent was crazy as a kid. Like he had like a bad issue with in his childhood. Like he repressed all his feelings. Like the Joker was a struggling, you know, comedian turned like, you know, psychopath. The Mad Hatter is a full on creep, just super creep. Like I don't want to go like too deep into it, but like he's pretty out there. Scarecrow, like he loves to scare people. That's what his thing is.
Well, Scarecrow, there's nothing worse than having somebody that is crossed that line as far as sanity, but actually understands mental health.
Exactly.
You know,
he's like all the things that Harley Quinn probably could be, but isn't.
Right.
And like and my point was like that's what Batman was like. Batman was like he's not the reason for their problem. They would have been that way regardless. He just helped them like with their names and their identity that they have now. But they would have been crazy people regardless.
Well, let me ask you this question since we went there. Who has the best rogues gallery in DC?
I feel like you gotta put like a subcategory behind that, cause like you know what I mean? Cause like you know, like someone like the coolest are Batman, but like someone like the funnest to see is the Flash,
right?
But like some like the heavy hitters out there, it's like full on Superman,
right?
And Wonder Woman had like some like the most like psychological like mess with your fucking head like rogue. Her rogue will make you feel like damn, like I really messed up big time. Yeah.
Right.
You?
I don't take Flash's rogues gallery seriously.
I don't think you're supposed to.
Well, there you go.
I don't think you're supposed to take them seriously. I think like they're supposed to be like, you know, kind of decent people at the very end of the day. Yeah.
And for me, it's Batman's rogue gallery. It's just every time I turn around, there's something different about, you know, you got your Riddler, Joker, Penguin.
Yeah.
And then the Black Mask. I mean, growing up as a kid, I used to watch the old Batman and Robin show with Adam West.
Okay.
And that that was Penguin, Riddler, Joker, and Catwoman.
The main ones, right?
They were the main ones, and they would come up with these crazy like characters like King Tut.
Man. Yeah. King Tut. Yeah.
King Tut.
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man, and then there is a Bookworm or something like that.
I think Bookworm's also a Shazam antagonist also,
yeah. So, those characters just stand out. Where you got Weather Wizard for Flash, Mirror Man,
Mirror Master,
Mirror Master, thank you. But Captain Freeze or Captain Cold is probably the coolest out of them all.
You know what? I don't know why that is, but like he does have like a complex story, and it does continuously change as the years go on. Like Snart gets like a little bit more edgier, but a little bit more understandable at the same time. You know, like I'm not sure like what DC is doing with that character, because even during like a Year of the Villain, they did some great stuff with his character.
Yeah.
He took over Keystone City. Like he took over like the entire city. He was still on top of his game, and like he was still like the main like bad guy against the Flash. Like he was still like doing it hard. Like they did a great job with that character. And
he even put him in the Justice League for a minute.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Good God. Snart.
Put him in the Justice League with Lex Luthor. Not Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor.
your wrestling pass is showing, dude. Definitely.
Yeah. You know what? It's so sad because the other day I was watching classic wrestling on YouTube.
Classic. Oh, geez. Yeah. Were you reminding yourself like when you watched this when it was?
What you said?
So you're reminding yourself when you actually watched this when it aired?
Oh yeah, I actually watched it. Actually believed that kayfabe was real.
Oh man.
I mean, I had an opportunity to meet Arn Anderson at a Comic-Con, and I said to him, and speaking, I was like, that one thing you did with Dusty Rhodes, where you took him down and you tied him up and you broke his hand with a baseball bat, and that happened here in Charlotte.
Oh wow.
It's not too far. The place is not too far from where I live, but I broke down in tears. I literally cried as a kid because I thought it was real. And he looked at me. He's like, "Well, then I did my job."
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But, you know, he's like, I'm doing my job. But he got us back. He said, Dusty got us back.
That's like standing character. That's cool. Nostalgia is a hell of a thing, man. I dig that.
Yeah.
The next bit of news I want to talk about was The Expanse. They were going to be making a comic book in continuity of the story, building up to season 5.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you about The Expanse. The one thing that turned me off about The Expanse is the lead character, the male.
The skinnier guy, right?
Yeah, the skinnier guy.
Yeah.
In the book, he was just pussy. I'm just gonna say
I wouldn't use those words, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
No, I get you.
That out. He was a wimp. He's just a wimp. And then the only time he got hard or got a backbone is when he told the detective not to kill anybody, and the detective killed someone. See, the book is different from the series.
Well, I'm glad they changed it around, because if he was kind of like, regress that much in the series, as much as I don't like it now, I would have really not liked it, like if he was that way.
It was like a steady thing for him starting to grow a backbone, but the process of doing it was so painful.
Yeah.
And in Thomas Jane's character,
what was he like in the book? Was he more rugged? Was he like the same way?
I would say he was about the same way, but he ended up dying in the first book.
You know what? I get that sense, like he's not supposed to keep going in this series.
Right.
As I'm watching, like he's supposed to be. He like he's supposed to be dead. Like after he found that girl's body, like it was in that shower. It's like a little bit after that, he probably should have passed on.
Well, yeah, because if I remember correctly in the book, there was a moment where he sacrificed himself to save everybody else.
As like that plant creature was taking over the ship, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
Would have made more sense.
If I remember correctly. It's been a while since I read the book.
I didn't know.
But then also,
off a book.
Yeah, but also his partner, when they, remember in the show, they took his partner and impaled him on the wall. He didn't die in the book.
And I was getting that impression also, like it's the future. I'm pretty sure some people can survive an impaling, in the future. But
yeah, we can fix that.
I mean, I'm sure they can fix that. Yeah, they're cops too.
Yeah, he didn't die in the book. So for me, for The Expanse,
it's a no-go.
It's a no-go. It's a no-go, and I'm probably going to get some haters out there for it, because a lot of people love The Expanse.
You know what? It has a big following, so much so like the reason why I started watching it is because Amazon bought it. That's the only reason why I started watching the show. Because it was on Sci-Fi at first, and not very good.
No.
I've been muscling through this first season for the past 7 months, and I just now started the second season, and I haven't moved past the first 10 minutes. Yeah, so
that's like me with Lovecraft Country after the first episode.
And you know why? Get you some hate.
Yeah, that's gonna give me some. But you know why that is?
You feel like it diverges so much from the book, and like he's saying to you, man, like you keep holding that pedestal like on the book compared to the film, you're gonna be disappointed every time.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. If I hadn't read the book, I would be totally into the show.
Think so?
I'd totally be into it.
All right.
But because I read the book before it even became a show, before the idea of it was coming to HBO,
difficult. Yeah,
it's difficult. And now going back and reading the book after seeing the first episode, because the first episode just like, I don't remember this. When did this princess come out of a spaceship in the middle of a battle in Korea?
I get that.
The Jackie Robinson thing. I know what they were. I knew it was going to be a dream, but I don't remember him having a dream like that.
Is it too much for you, or just like that's not what you wanted it to be?
I think for me, the opening scene in the book was so pivotal for me because it really showed his experience under the Jim Crow laws.
Okay.
And how angry he was, and how important that the Green Book was for the Black community back then. And how it was a struggle to maintain his temperament.
Let me ask you this. If it would get a second season, do you think it will get a second season?
Well, it depends on how they end it. Because it depends on how they end it. It depends on how they end it and how they get a second season. Because
you're gonna reference the book again, aren't you?
Well, there's a lot of things that happen in the book, and I'm not gonna say anything more, but there's a lot of things that happen in the book that draws in all the characters, which, you know, you've got Atticus, his situation, and then I can't remember the female lead. She gets drawn into it on her own separate storyline, and then his uncle's wife gets drawn into it on her own separate line, and then I guess you could say his quasi-girlfriend's sister, who you see in the first part of the book singing on the stage in Chicago, she gets drawn into it. And the story about, and her storyline is crazy, and I don't even know if they're even going to do it in the series. I mean, I don't want to spoil it.
How about this? How about this question? Are there a lot of things that, even if you had to take like some liberties with the story that you know from the book, are there some things that you would have did differently in the show as opposed to what you saw in that first episode?
I would have changed the opening scene. I would have changed the opening scene to show him actually struggling,
him being
trying to get back to Chicago. Because there was a scene where he had to interact with a racist mechanic, and then he got through that situation. And then there was a scene he had to deal with a racist state trooper. And that those interactions I felt were important because it kind of gave to me, wow, this is what he's going through. This explains a lot by why the way he acts and how he approaches situations.
One last question on this topic, then we can move on to a different subject. Mm-hmm. When it comes to this story in particular, like this show, I know you said you only watched the first episode. I haven't watched any, but who do you think the main audience is for this show? Is it for a majority of white people? Is it like for black people who are trying to find something out there about themselves? Like, is it for like historian like nuts who like watching stories from this time period? Who is the story for, you think?
I think it's more for the latest Watchmen crowd with Regina King. I think it's more there because it's talking about social issues in an era of the Jim Crow era.
Does it seem forced to you?
No, it doesn't seem forced to me because it's what's going on in the time period. And then there's also the whole Lovecraft racism, you know, white is superior than black. Yeah. That plays, and they bring that in. And that's one of the reasons why I like Matt, the author of the book, because he doesn't shy away from Lovecraft's racism. He puts it in your face and he exposes it and combats it and kind of turns it into an anti-racist story.
I think you're starting to sell me on watching this show. Like anything, and when I hear Cthulhu or hear the name Lovecraft, I'm immediately out of it. It's like, okay, well, you know, it sounds cool, but like now I'm out because I hear Lovecraft, I hear Cthulhu, I think I'm done. But like, you know, what you're saying, like it's touching all those buttons for me, like in all the ways like it should be touched. And like, I didn't mean for it to sound like that, but I'm in. I'm all the way in.
Yeah. Well, you almost weren't in on our book.
Yeah. Ha! I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say. You got me.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you weren't in until I broke it down. You're like, okay, I'm in.
All right. Yeah, you talked me into it. Like, I can be compromised. You know.
Tell me, is there magic in this? If there's magic in this,
I'm in. Yeah, if there's magic in it, I'm sold. There you go. And like I don't see Lovecraft, then I'm good. Then we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got something you want to talk about. What was the topic you wanted to bring up?
Oh.
It was about the Black Panther and like.
Oh no, I was gonna bring up that movie I made you watch.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it yet.
No, the other one.
The ship.
The other one.
Oh God, the ship.
Ghost Galleon.
The Ghost Galley, yeah. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen, and like if you guys like know like how I talk about certain arts and projects, I don't like saying things are bad, but this was quintessentially bad. Like the story was awful, the characters were not good at acting, the directing was all over the place. The main antagonists, which were ghosts who walked very slow, were not only dumb but just like irrelevant to everything. None of it made any sense. It was all upside down. Like why'd you?
And it was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah, not sure why you asked me to watch that movie. You asked me to watch it, and again, apprehensive.
Yeah, the reason why I asked you to watch it is because it was so stupid and so dumb that I laughed my way through it, and I said, I got to share this with D. And what is the first thing you said to me on the phone? He's like, what was up with the female lead? They just dumped her in a stack of potatoes and threw her down, and that's the last.
that was it. You're the first person you saw in the movie too. This made no sense. Like, yeah. It had like a classic horror theme into it, but I just didn't understand. Just didn't, whatever.
And who takes a purse on a boat ride on a ghost ship?
Dude, the thing was huge. It was as big as a laptop. It was a giant purse, and she's just taking it with her. Why are you doing that? Makes no sense. None whatsoever. Maybe there are things about like, you know, the female etiquette that I don't understand, but like if you're going somewhere that looks spooky, I guess that you can clutch it if you need to, but why you would take it is beyond me. I don't get it. Although, you know, I'm a cis male, so what do I know?
And I'm going to jump over to Black Panther, but the last thing I want to say is, how do you have a female lead be all hard and up in everybody's face, but then when she gets caught by the ghost, she's like running scared, crawling all over the place.
Dude, that was so out of her character from what we saw that entire time that again it made no sense. It made none, like no sense whatsoever. So like she's like a super badass, like you just said, getting in everyone's face, get kidnapped, and like doesn't let her phase her whatsoever.
Oh, she gets raped too.
I almost turned off the movie after that happened. Like, see,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
they didn't show it. It was just heavily implied that like that happened, but
yeah.
After it happened, like it was nothing. Like it didn't really happen.
Nothing, and she's still talking trash. She's still talking trash.
None of it made any sense, and like it was very misogynistic and very disgusting. Like
it was very misogynistic and very disturbing.
Yeah.
The only part that really, I'm sorry, that made me laugh was when the head came off. Because it was just like in the middle.
Why is this happening? You said that a lot too. At least I said that a lot to myself a lot. Like, why is any of this happening right now? None of this makes any sense.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary.
I think it was a German film, wasn't it? Is that where it was originally from?
No, it was Italian.
Was it?
It was
really?
Italian. And it wasn't even done by Hammer House. Hammer House has B horror movies, but Hammer House was way better than that.
That was This is definitely like something.
You know.
I would say that Mystery Science Theater would probably like play something like this, but I don't. And honestly, I don't think they like because of the rape and the gratuitous like disturbance to it. I don't think anyone would like to replay this.
Yeah.
Anytime soon.
Yeah. So D and I will watch all the bad horror movies for you on Amazon and tell you which one's not good.
It's gonna be stress on me. I'll tell you that because they're so awful. They're so awful.
He still has to watch The Green Slime.
See, that name alone just sounds terrible. That just sounds like a horrible name for a movie. Sounds like
but you know why? I thought of you when they played the intro music and they had this hard guitar riff. I'm like, oh, the guitar riff alone. Watch this.
Wow, there you go. Yeah. Dude, I'm not 8 years old anymore. Theme songs do not catch me like that anymore. I will be honest. That's how I got into all my TV shows. Darkwing Duck, the theme song had me sold. Gargoyle. Oh yeah, good God. So
let's move on to Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther, please.
So, I'm sorry. So, Chad Bozick, it was amazing the fact that he did 7 films after he'd been diagnosed, and still
Chad Boseman, like he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, hell of a guy. And I feel for me, and I said to my wife, I was like, just leave Black Panther alone. Just leave it alone for a while.
Yeah.
And just let him have this moment, because, look what they did after Heath Ledger died. They waited, and then they brought back, what's his name? Jared Leto to play it.
Yeah.
But in his defense,
it was a different universe, different story.
It was a different universe, and he didn't have the ability to play the Joker that it was supposed to be played, because everybody was just pretty much had their hands in it.
You know what? I think that's part of the reason why we saw this very extreme version of the Joker is because of that reason. I don't want to blame it on the times, like time changing. Like you want like a new version of the Joker thing because like you just said, like people felt such a connection to that Joker and the fact that like that Heath Ledger passed away during that role. Like you can't like just put somebody else under that costume and like and redo that person, you know, like that other person did. Because like there's too much there.
It's too much. It's too much emotion, and I think the key thing to me about Black Panther was the actors and actresses. First, you had Angela Bassett. You had Angela Bassett in it. That alone was, you know, she's still the queen to me.
Lupita Nyong'o to me, man, like that was like a lock and sold,
yeah. Well, I didn't even recognize her at first.
She looked so different, didn't she?
Yeah, and because when she got on stage to accept the Oscar, right? She got on stage to accept the Oscar.
That's Lupita. Like Lupita was in this movie.
I was like, Lupita, you turned into a badass.
She, I think it was like it wasn't a weird red hair or like just how like you said how badass she was in the film. I didn't see it coming. Yeah, and so I think Ryan Coogler did a great job, and I think the casting was great. But there was a presence. Now that you go back and watch the movie, there is a presence that he has playing T'Challa. You know, so for me, it was a lot of firsts, like a lot of firsts, and like you can. I want to say something that people may not want to hear, but I feel like I'm not saying I'm not being honest with the people who want to hear me talk about this. It was a bit rough. The first 25 minutes of the movie, like the acting was a bit rough, the directing was a bit rough. It was just like seeing those first scenes. I'm not sure when they were shot. It was shot first, shot last, or what. But it just seems like there was something going on with the acting, and like there's something going on with the direction, like with the acting that kind of took me out of it. It could be me personally that was going on something with me, and I get like what you're saying isn't the most positive thing right now. But after they went on that first mission and they met like they were looking for Claw inside that casino, like the tone.
I love Claw.
The tone completely changed.
Yeah,
and the fact that he was an appropriator made it so much better.
Right.
Dude, making Claw an appropriator like make so much sense to that character. So much.
They did. And the fact that they got, what's his name, who did the voice for Smeagol or Gollum. I mean, the part when he gets out.
Now too,
yeah, when he gets out, he's like, "You want my mixtape? I got a mixtape."
So he was dead serious about it.
I know he was. And I'm like, what? Did he just say it? And then with him sitting in the interrogation room, I want to know if that was either written in or they just let him go.
Yeah.
Or just had him, baby, don't hurt me no more. He was like going at it.
Just going at it. It really makes me angry that like, you know, that
they killed him.
Killmonger had to kill him. Yeah. And like you kind of think the same thing with Killmonger's girlfriend, but like I feel like if Marvel's good at what they're doing, but this leads into what we're about to talk about here, what we're going into. If she's still alive, why wouldn't she be Madam Slay as opposed to anyone else playing, you know? Just saying, like, you know, since she was like his girlfriend that we saw and we didn't see like him with attachment to anyone else, because if he did, like it'd be like him having like a side chick, and you wouldn't want to put that into a Disney Marvel film. It just makes me know like this probably what you say, like you're about to go into, so please.
Hold up. Disney made Angel Heart. A lot of people don't know that, but Disney made Angel Heart through Touchstone Pictures, and that was the movie that got what's her name kind of pushed off the Cosby Show. Lisa Bonet.
Angel Heart.
Yeah.
Was it Disney or was it Miramax?
No, it was Touchstone.
Touchstone. Wow, that's full on Disney. Jeez.
Yeah, it was Touchstone Pictures that did it, and it was when Mickey Rourke had a normal face.
Yeah.
And Robert De Niro, I think Robert De Niro was in it too. But,
he was.
But to me, if Disney could do that with Angel Heart, I don't see why they can't put a side piece in a movie.
I don't know. Like they have like
because
what they're doing.
Yeah, but having a side piece doesn't necessarily. It depends on how you portray the side piece. She could be a straight up side piece, but you don't have to do it Angel Heart way. You could do it, like Disney version, of a side piece.
I want to see how that looks, like under the lens of Disney. I want to see it because they really toned down the alcoholism when it came to Robert Downey. So I'm really interested. I see.
Did I just look? I just lost you.
Yeah, your camera's gone.
All right, there I am. I'm back.
There we go. Give me a moment. My TV's having some malfunctions right now. It wants to start playing. So, but like, it's just to like see if like how Disney would put a side chick or like a woman that he had on the side into this world, because if they nerfed the alcoholism when it comes to Robert Downey, if they change Hank Pym from being a womanizer, not womanizer, but like a
wife beater.
Yeah.
Well, that's in the Ultimate storyline. I don't think that was in the main 616.
It was actually.
It was actually in 616.
Not as heavily as we saw in the Ultimate Universe, but it was. Like, if you ever look into Google and look up Hank Pym Ant-Man, you will not find many images of Hank Pym Ant-Man on Google, or Scarlet Witch in her old costume. You won't find many of those there either. Like, Disney had done a good job of trying to clean that up.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I stand corrected.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah, it's nuts because, yeah. But I think with a side piece, yeah, maybe you're right.
It'll be hard. Like if they do it, it'll be hard because fans will see that. But that kind of leads into what you're talking about, like how they're gonna approach this. And like, I don't want to say talk like this, like we're treading on Chadwick Boseman. Like I want to say like I want to keep the Black Panther going, much like how Fast and the Furious is still going, even after Paul Walker has passed away. And like I'm a fan of the Fast and Furious.
Did you just see my face when you said Fast and Furious?
I'm a fan of the Fast and Furious series. Like, I didn't care about the first two, but like Tokyo Drift, it got me back into the series, man. Like, the story was better. The characters a little bit more low key. Like, it made sense. And then the fourth movie came out, and like the story picked up from the first two movies, and it went somewhere different besides just like family. I love my family. Family. It was more than just that.
You know where they lost me?
Please.
And we'll get back to Plankton. When Vin Diesel beat up The Rock.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because, like, in what world?
In what world? If The Rock can rock bottom Jason Statham through a table.
Yeah. I mean, Vin Diesel.
I'm not saying The Rock is a badass, but I'm just saying it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of fighting the dog. But I'm saying,
Ross' character was like military.
Yeah, he was like he was a diplomatic security agent.
I mean, dude.
He was DSA.
And look at the size of it. I mean, like, he takes pride in himself and in what he can do. And like you told me that fucking Vin Diesel can beat, like, dude, like Toretto could not beat like the Ross character in Fast. Just no. You
have to figure he has some type of military training or some type of training in hand-to-hand combat, right? He's got to have some type of training in hand-to-hand combat. He's proficient with weapons. Nothing against Vin Diesel's character, but Vin Diesel's character is a straight-up gangster.
Like, he knows how to street fight, like, and that's cool.
Yeah, he knows how to street fight.
But like, dude, like the Ross character has like tons of experience under his belt. Tons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're digressing a little bit, but yeah, like you were talking about how to reapproach this Black Panther inside the MCU. Like, how would that look to you?
I think for me, how it would look, I think they will take some time. I think they will take some time on it because now, whatever you had planned, you got to take a step back because you could have brought in Storm.
Yeah.
And then you can't. To me, you really can't work the Shuri angle because she's not
there yet.
Yeah, not there yet.
I'm just like no offense like the actor, no offense to like the character, but from what we saw and like what you actually know from the comic books, if you want to follow like the comic books lore, Like I don't really think her character, unless like, they age her a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think like her character is really there yet. So, no, I hear you.
No, I don't think her character's really there. Now, I did see somebody on Facebook already calling for Denzel Washington's son to step in.
I mean, I wouldn't want to replace Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, like that someone threw. He's like, no disrespect to Chadwick,
a bit
but
disrespect.
I know, yeah. I know, but that's what I'm saying. It was a big disrespect, but I'm throwing this out here. You know, I just want to see how he does with Tenet. Well,
is it John David in Tenet?
Yeah, he's in Tenet.
Okay,
John David. But if you see him in Black Klansman, he's an amazing man.
He's good.
Like he's very good.
He tap danced all around that movie, dude. Like he was really good. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I think you need to give this some time before you start, fans start throwing out names, because this
hit a lot of people. Like I, as you just heard, was not the biggest fan. Like the Black Panther movie. Like I loved the movie, but I thought it was just like a Marvel ripoff of Civil War, not Civil War, but Winter Soldier. Like and Thor, and like be angry about that. Like do what you got to do. But I rewatching it now under a lens of like this should be appreciated for what it is, and like what it took to make this. I get how like my work came off as derogatory to some who care about this movie, because we've never seen this before. It's never been done before. We never had this before. Like not to this scale, not to this level, not to like the amount of people who love and appreciate it, not to people like who take idolization like from these characters. Like you were saying before, like the characters what make it. And like I feel like I undershot that.
Yeah, we have
in ways.
The black exploitation era.
But like that was just that. It was exploitative. Like it was like all stereotypes. Like in this film, like you got like different. You got like White Ape doing his thing. You got like the entire family of Black Panther doing their thing. You get like the diaspora of like Killmonger and his family doing their thing. So you get like different views of a black scope all in one. And like that. That's not like cliche. That's not like a monolith.
You're right. You're right, because you can't. You're right. You can't compare the two, because if you look at the Black Park Station era, it was more about
jucking and jiving.
Us against the man. The man is plotting. Land is plotting to take over the world, and they want to get
Wakanda was the man.
Yeah. But for me, Wakanda and the Black Panther movie was like, okay, finally we have arrived.
I did think that. Like I was hoping to see more of that.
Yeah. And we might see that with Ava DuVernay going over to do New Gods. It'd be interesting to see how she does that.
I'm nervous, to be honest with you.
Well, don't forget Ava DuVernay was originally supposed to direct Black Panther.
I heard she was running for it before Kubrick got the spot, but I think didn't she turn it down? No, from what I understand, and I might be wrong, is that there was creative differences and she left. And it sounds like the Edgar Wright thing would happen to Ant-Man,
Yeah.
That's why I don't really care for MC. Like they want like to censor too much when it comes to
But you got to give the MCU credit, and this is an argument my wife and I have all the time.
I really want to hear like whenever someone says like give MCU credit, I want to hear their reasoning why.
Because Kevin Feige and them, from me on the outside looking in, gives the creative freedom to do what they need to do with the Marvel Universe to make it the way it looks with that Disney money. Now let's take Aquaman and match it up against Let's take it up and match it up against Captain Marvel, which I don't think was the best out of them all.
That's funny. Like that's two films I have not watched. But please, keep going now.
All right, visually, Captain Marvel was way better than Aquaman.
Looking,
and my wife, and my wife would say to me, and she worked in the industry as a freelance makeup artist and stuff, and she would say to me, why is this visually terrible?
About Aquaman.
Why is this? Aquaman. Why is this visually terrible? Couldn't they pay more to do this? And my argument too, you're dealing with Disney. Disney has money, and they're not like Warner Brothers, where Warner Brothers sticks their hands into everything, and it's controlling.
I think you may have that background. I think it's more of a it's more like Disney has like their fingers in everything because they put so much money inside of it. Again, this is me talking.
Right. But
like,
to a point, I would agree with you. To a point with Disney. Not as much as Warner Brothers. Not as much as what Warner Brothers does. And even now with AT&T being involved, who knows what that's going to look like.
I just did the budget. Captain Marvel's budget was $152 million, and Aquaman was $200 million.
So,
but like you had James Wan also directing like Aquaman,
who did Fast and Furious,
and he also did a couple of horror films on top of that as well.
Right.
Like, and that's what he said he was going for when he did the Black Manta character. Well, like it was a horror film with like his whole suit. I think he pulled it off. But yeah.
To me, it was like as soon as I mentioned to my wife, well, they got the director from one of the Fast and Furious, she goes, "Oh, okay, that explains a lot."
was that all you told her? You didn't talk about like any of his horror?
She went and saw the movie. We went and saw the movie.
Guy.
Yeah, we just went and saw the movie together.
Like he did Saw, he did The Conjuring. Yeah.
I didn't see The Conjuring.
You undersold it. He did like The Nun. You undersold it. Definitely.
Okay, first of all, that's not going to sell to my wife. Oh, he did The Conjuring and the Nun. You know, the ones where everybody dies and gets ripped apart and possessed and everything.
That sounds awesome, doesn't it? Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Let's go see it.
No, I get it.
It's not like I say, hey, babe, this movie's done by Ridley Scott. You know, the one who did Alien. Oh, yeah, let's go see him. Let's go see that. Because he's visually amazing.
But, like, you know, like, those movies do have, like, traction to it. Like, The Conjuring, Saw, The Nun. Like, people know what those movies are, even if they don't like them. You know, they still have heard of them. And they do make a lot of money when they go to the box office.
Well, okay, I never saw Saw. I will never see Saw. That's a topic for a different episode right there. Yeah, I know. I'll never see it. We'll get to that later.
Wow. You're a big horror nut. Are you serious?
I won't even see Hostel.
What?
Right. Okay.
You never watched Hostel?
No. Let me put it to you this way. I dig horror, but I don't dig horror when it's just ridiculous. Blood splatter.
Focus more on like the underlying story. It's like all I can say to like the horror is there. Think of it like an adult film. Like if it has a good story, if it has a good, let me finish. If it has a good story to it, like the adult interactions don't matter. That's like
all right, no. Let's continue on Black Panther.
I tried. Whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah, you tried and you failed.
Maybe next time. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I just show my geekness doing this?
Yes, you did. Might just do like an L7 next, man. Yeah. Yes, you did. You sure
At least
did.
I'm not doing the heart thing.
Doing one of those little numbers.
Yeah. Every time I see that, I'm like,
super cheesy.
What's wrong with these people?
Super cheesy.
It's super cheesy. You know, it was like whatever. But back to Black Panther, I think they'll need to take some time with it. And
I think they do too.
Yeah, I think they do too. They've got so many other things working in the MCU universe, and until DC figures out the formula of what makes them successful with their animation and translate it over to movies and TV, they're going to be behind the power grid. However, I would say Stargirl did surprise me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good show. Diverse as hell. Every character have like their own identity to them. They're not like just like there to prop up Stargirl. They have their own voices. Like, no, I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Except the person they got to fill in for Our Man,
the kid?
Annoying. Yeah, annoying.
I thought he was annoying at first, but like when I realized like what he
it was a girl. It was a girl.
They switched Iron Man out again?
No. Iron Man, yeah, he was cool. It was it Captain Midnight? Yeah.
Dr. Midnight?
Dr. Midnight.
Dude, she's cool. I mean, like, she's a know-it-all, but like that's know-it-all is supposed to be annoying.
All right, everybody was getting in the scrap. Everybody was scrapping. Everybody was throwing blows.
She can't fight. She's a nerd. I think season two, they'll change that around. Like, turn her into a fighter. That's my guess.
Well, even in the comic book,
Dr.
Midnight was scrapping.
Yeah, well, she's like Dr. Midnight too. So just give it time. You know how mantles are, dude. You know how mantles like they're never the same way as their previous. Mr. Terrific is nothing. Michael Holt is nothing like the original Mr. Terrific. Nothing like him.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But like I said, Black Panther.
I'll tell you what I think about this. I think what they should do, and I do it very subtle, very gracefully, is to get every individual character from Black Panther, put them in different X-Men movies. Just toss them in there as cameos, as like guest appearing inside the films. Just get like almost every supporting character or a character from that universe and put them into an X-Men film to balance out that franchise. Like if they balance out the X-Men with some Black Panther, whatever they do with Black Panther will be softened because like you see or you can guess about what's happening. You can wonder like what's really happening with the Chadwick Boseman story, if he's going to be a part of it, if he won't be a part of it. It gives you time like to prop up Shuri a little bit more to see how she's going to like transgress, if she is going to be Black Panther. It just gives you a lot of different avenues, and it won't have to change that much of the MCU story at the same time if you just put some of those characters inside like the X-Men, inside the X-Men story. And either way, they're going the route of Hickman's Secret War. Like that's where they're gonna go with this anyway. Like, regardless of what happens, they use that Hickman story to change whatever the hell they wanted to inside of like the MCU. Like period. They're gonna use that story to do what DC does and flip the script and reboot or rechange whatever the hell they want to change.
Yeah, DC did that through Doomsday Clock. They reset everything.
They did it for a lot of different things.
I know, but they finally undid the 52 with Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, they kind of like put some things back into like the pre-52 mode, and like for a lot of you who don't know, the new 52 does still have, even though like Rebirth happened, it is still the new 52 universe, and Doomsday Clock is slowly but surely changing some of that around. Have they finished? They haven't finished like the entire series of the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, I got the last book.
Issue number 12, yeah?
Yeah, issue 12.
I gotta get that because I know
issue 12.
Midnight showed up. He obliterated a lot of the characters, like just got rid of them, and like you don't know what happened. Like, he had like a confrontation with Superman, but you know what really happened.
You want me to tell you?
I'll read it. I'll read it. Don't tell me. Like I've been like. All
I'm gonna say that it doesn't go the way you think it's gonna go.
Really?
Because a lot of people think they're gonna come to blows. It doesn't. That's not
the Superman thing, though. Superman will always talk it out before he throws a punch. That's who he is. That's why I didn't care for the new 52 Superman, because like the first thing he did when he saw Batman was punch him in the face. Like why is he doing this? You don't even know this guy. Like why would you just start hitting him?
And he punched him in his face. How did he not cave in his face?
Jeez, gosh, yeah.
So here's the thing that I think people forget about Batman, that he is metahuman.
Yeah, he has the ability to not give up. That is his power. That's his power. Like, he doesn't give up.
I think it's more of his intelligence.
And that's more to do with it?
I think it has more to do with that. And his ability to learn things and adapt to them. Like, he knows how many different versions of martial arts?
Yeah, good amount.
He has the ability to do different things. I mean,
he's
then he came up with that.
A Karate Kid, but a Karate Kid is from the future, so.
Yeah. And then he came up with that machine. I forget which one it was. I think it was
OMAC?
No, not OMAC, but the machine where he can transpose his memories into a clone of him.
Sorry. No, sorry.
I may be telling that differently.
You're right.
Am I right?
You're right. It just okay. I don't say this very often about DC stories, but that was one of the dumbest DC stories I've ever fucking seen. Good God. You're talking about Za and Thru, Zuentra, yeah, it's he put his consciousness into a machine for when he dies. When he dies, this machine will like put his consciousness into any random person, and that random person will become the new Batman. It turns out that machine went fucking haywire, like all of Batman machines fucking do, and it put his mind into like a homeless person. But it turns out that homeless person was crazy, and like he started like killing people. So yeah. Like it took Batmite to show up to calm this dude down for killing people because, like, for one, he was doing a better job at being Batman than Batman did because he was killing people, and his suit was like brightly colored purple and orange and yellow and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, geez, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be ridiculous because it was ridiculous, but like it was too comic booky for me to even enjoy. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, like the idea for your audience out there, the idea and the concept behind it, as Dee said, was that there will always be a Batman as long as his conscience existed in this machine. For every time period, for every era or whatever, there will always be a Batman. Which you got to figure kind of makes a lot of sense because Superman, because of his life expectancy,
shelf full of robots, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his life is, there was always going to be a Superman. I mean, it was going to take time for Superman to die. So, I mean, you could also look at it this way. As long as there's a Superman, there's a Batman to balance out each other.
Yeah.
You know?
And, yeah. All right. I think that's all I got. That was a good point. I don't got anything. You got anything else?
Nah, man. I just think we just have to take a wait-and-see approach with Black Panther and see how it goes.
I'm interested to see where it goes because you and I both know Disney's gonna do this with kid gloves. Period. And I won't call them Disney Marvel. They're Disney to me. But like they're gonna go kid gloves with this. They're gonna take their time with it, and they're gonna listen to the fans when it comes to what reactions they're gonna do. So
yeah, and they're gonna give him his respect. They're gonna give him respect that is due to him.
Because if they don't, like the fans will not appreciate it, and they will most definitely let you know about it.
Right. It's not like Thank goodness they're not doing it like James Bond, where they're like, "Oh, you don't want to do it anymore? Okay, we'll go get George Montgomery. Do one movie with him until we can get someone else."
So anyway, have you seen a new James Bond trailer?
Looks sick.
It looks fucking cool, doesn't it? Yeah.
The question is though, and this will be the last thing we talk about. Where is it going? Because Daniel Craig is leaving. I don't know if he's doing one more. And,
this is his last one. Like they set it up for a new Bond to be inside of it. Like she's already in there.
Is it going to be, what's her name? Who's rolling with him? Is she going to be the new Bond?
She's going to be a new Bond.
Or is it going to be, there's another female in there. I don't know if you saw her. She's in the trailer. She has long black hair. She's in a black dress, and she's just throwing blows. Is she going to be the new Bond? Of course, there's Elba. Everybody still wants Elba. But
then that ship has sailed. I think he's past the point of being able to pull off roles like that, man. Like maybe we'll see with Suicide Squad, but yeah.
Yeah, you know who I would like to see to play Bond, and the only reason why is because he can physically do it. I don't necessarily think he has the chops like Daniel Craig or any other A-list actor, but Scott Adkins.
The fighter.
Yeah. He has the physicality to play the role.
He's British too, isn't he?
He's British too.
Yeah.
He has the physicality to play the role, but I don't think he necessarily.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't think he's at the level of Daniel Craig or Pierce Brosnan.
A lot of people mention that he can probably be Wolverine, but I don't think he has the acting skills to be Wolverine either. To be honest with you, he's acting struggle in the beginning with Wolverine.
What? All he's got to do is say, "Hey, bug, grunt, and stab."
But he hasn't said that with the memory of fucking 200-some years behind him. Also, yeah,
that's true.
You got to keep that that's part of his character, man. In those pages, as dressed as the Marlboro Man, he pulls that shit off.
Well,
Wolverine's a Marlboro Man. What he is, whatever.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess you got some homework to do before the next time.
Yeah, gotta read a lot of books.
Yeah, you gotta read a lot of books.
Got a lot of books. Are you read all yours, or are you just hanging out with them?
Yeah, I just buy books and stick them on my shelf.
It happens. People do it all the time. Don't you watch the news? That's what they do.
Actually, I'm reading the first one in the series of the Crisis, and that one, as you see, is pretty thick.
It's a little dense. I'll try to read the first issue. It's a bit dense.
Yeah. And then I'll get through that, and then you got to pick up Harlem Hellfire.
Harlem Hellfire. It's a story about the true story. You said Harlem Hellfire.
Well, it's based loosely on African Americans fighting in World War I, but it's basically the experiences of what they went through. Not necessarily. It's a historical fiction interpretation.
Gotcha. Like Forrest Gump type stuff.
Yeah, like Forrest Gump type stuff.
Yeah.
But not well,
not the same guys of Forrest Gump, of course. Yeah.
Not the same guys.
A little bit more serious than that.
A little bit more serious.
All right. Well, this is the FTO Nerd Talk. I don't know what he's talking about. He's trying to go on some kind of tangent.
Stupid is what stupid does.
It's been a blast, David.
Thank you, man.
This has been so much fun. Hopefully we do it again next week. Hopefully this could be a newly weekly type thing. Hopefully we can do it live someday in the future. Like you're in, right?
I'm in. I'm totally in. Cool. Until your audience say don't bring me back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta listen to the people, man.
Yeah. No, you don't. You don't have to listen to the people.
Remember that? Yeah. Everyone who's in the Decimation Earth, like, he doesn't listen to you. So there you go. All right. Take it easy, man.
All right. Take it easy, man. Bye.